Hi there, I'm Pauline Ng. Welcome to RepTV. In this episode, 3 students from the Diploma in Mass Communications were involved in a video production in collaboration with City Gas. The 5-minute video tells the story of a Samsui woman and how the efforts of our pioneer generations were being recognized. Here's the story.
富吉店媽嗰條路係我哋開嘅咧，日本手一路開，做到佢頭一行啊，我哋正冇得做啊嘛。胡仁心84歲，我14歲死個老豆，15歲啱啱和平，我個老母死，我哋出嚟做工咧，乜嘢工都做，正式係咁樣擔泥咧。通樓都係擔泥婆，10幾個擔泥婆，咁樣佢哋好有心嘅。阿印嗰陣時我好力嘅喎，托嘢又得，擔又得，抬又得，淒涼嗰啲我唔諗嘅啦。過咗啦，已經過咗幾難我都我唔會孤零零。而家樓下德教咧，好好招待我哋嘅。嗱，今晚日頭佢又落去運動，晏啲又落去聽有冇人請好似今晚咁請你去食嘢咁。
It is important for us not to forget the contributions of our pioneer generation, and as a result, current generation of Singaporeans, young and old, should actually come together to seize every opportunity to do something to express our appreciation to them. So bringing them out into the hawker center for a function like today to celebrate their birthdays and so on is one of the many ways that we can remember our pioneer generation. I'm sure there will be many other ways so that we can continue to think of and to organize in order to show our appreciation and gratitude to our pioneer generation. Particularly when you talk about the Samsui women, they were the ones who actually built the country. They are the builders. So they literally built our roads, built our buildings, infrastructure, so that we will be able to enjoy a good housing programs in our HDB flats. We are able to travel on a very smooth and nice roads, and all these are actually the fruit of the hard labor.
開心，哎呀，咁有得食有得拎啊嘛！政府係好啦，政府好話唔好聽威晒啦，我都話99%先係靚咗，梗係有紅包啊，梗係歡喜啦。唔使講噶啦，呢好似大餐你就俾我都歡喜啊，做咩唔歡喜係咪？我今日影相影幾多相你知道？出董事啦，happy 啦。
Ako ni nang wangi mana nang wangi dan nongkrong wangi mah. Oh, kau cubi mah. Cik suka kalau ada macam organize begini gembira. Hati orang tua kan macam saya ni umur dah 73. At least kita campur dengan kawan-kawan macam ada kawan baru macam orang-orang yang lain yang jumpa kita. At least gembira lah.
Iya, seronok bagus lah nak kumpul-kumpul ini macam bagus ini. Dapat tengok-tengok. Kalau macam makcik tak ada ini macam ada kat rumah saja.
I think important thing is that home is where the heart is. So long as we have a heart to make this place a warm place, a caring place for the people, and then whoever lives in this country will invariably feel that this is a home to them.
Four of our DMC students work on a 3-part series with the Singapore's Public Service Division, PSD. The stories highlight the importance of family support in the everyday lives of teachers, police officers, and even an orchid expert at the Singapore's Botanic Garden. Here's what prison officer Suko's family had to say about his job.
Mula-mula terperanjat lah. Terperanjat pasal tak sangka kan anak yang cengeng, dulu penakut. Habis tiba-tiba boleh jadi prison officer.
For my current job scope, I'm attached to B4 Visual Arts Hub. We actually doing some art therapy with the inmates. You will see a lot of wonderful drawings expressing their inner feeling. Some drawing, it can be very tearful and it will touches your heart. We are here to inspire them, to actually tell them to think on a positive side.
Apa yang cik tahu, okey, kerja prison officer ni bukan senang. Pasal dia kena kena ini berdepan sama macam-macam ragam manusia yang di dalam tu.
Kadang-kadang ialah saya minta pada Cuka kalau ada masalah waktu tempat kerja ke apa kan, waktu balik ini keluarkan. Kalau dia nak nasihat kepada orang tua macam saya dengan rumah saya boleh nasihatkan.
When dia ada projek to do, ya, tu yang buat dia stres. Pasal dia selalu kena stay up lambat, buat kerja.
Fine.
I think she understands that I hold a lot of responsibility as an eldest and also as a civil servant and as a father of one.
Kita sebagai orang tua dia, kita betul-betul amat bangga lah.
As a prison officer, you are the frontline officer that actually touches different kinds of life. So this brings me to my past, where actually my parents are the one who actually touches me.
Apa pekerjaan dia buat itu satu amanah. Jadi dia mesti buat yang terbaik. Itu sajalah.
From the love of families to the love of pets, Raj shares more.
Thank you, Pauline. We Singaporeans, we love our pets. Fish, reptiles, feline, canine, you name it, we love it. It's a heartwarming sight to see these furry friends frolicking around the neighborhood. But the sad thing is, there are some pet owners who do not give their pets the care and concern they need. Well, we sat down with Minister of State Desmond Lee, who's a huge animal lover himself, during the premiere of the Hunger Games Mockingjay, a charity event organised by the Cat Welfare Society. We asked the Minister why he thinks Singaporeans are so crazy about pets, and more importantly, what it means to be a responsible pet owner. Take a listen to what he has to say.
For pet lovers, having a pet is a form of companionship. An animal that you can relate to, that gives you stress relief at the end of a difficult day in school or at work. Animal that can walk with you, for example a dog that can walk with you in the park or at the East Coast. For others, it's also an opportunity to learn responsibility.
But also at the same time, there are also owners who have like 4 pets at home, and it goes back to our Cat Welfare Society's message of encouraging responsible pet ownership. So, what's your view on it, Minister? What do you think about it? How do you think we can spread the message of responsible pet ownership?
You're quite right, Deepan Raj. When you say people get crazy over animals, there are two sides of the coin.
Yeah.
There are some who crazy love animals, and some who crazy hate animals. And responsible pet ownership is also two-sided. On the one hand, it is being responsible to life, to a companion animal that is entirely reliant on you, that you bring into your home as part of the family, and so being responsible to the animal is one important facet. Of course, being a responsible pet owner also means being responsible in your dealings with your neighbours and the dealings with your community. So for the dogs, picking up after they make a mess on the sidewalk. For cats, keeping them indoors, making sure they don't caterwaul in a way that irritates your neighbours. That is responsible pet ownership. And it really starts from the self. There is no law that can enforce responsible pet ownership in a way that causes people to internalize behaviour. And so it has to come at every level. When you buy a pet, you need to be prepared to take on a lifelong commitment
When we talk about responsible pet ownership, we're talking about sterilizing your pets and
Yes.
stuff like that. So, but the word sterilization has a bad connotation to it. So how do you think we can remove that? How do you think we can encourage Singaporeans to think that sterilization is what we need? I mean, to make sure we protect our environment and the pets themselves.
Actually, sterilization is not a bad word.
Yeah, I mean,
It should be synonymous with responsible pet ownership, unless you intend to breed your pet animal, either because you are involved in competition, you want to breed a pedigree line, or you just want to have more and you are prepared to take care of the offspring. Otherwise, sterilization, especially in a city environment, is the way to go.
If you are interested in what the Cat Welfare Society does, do check them out on Facebook. Finally, in this episode of Reflections with, there are a few people in Singapore who understands what achieving success truly means. He is definitely one of them. We managed to score an exclusive interview with former CEO of Keppel Corp, Mr. Choo Chiau Beng.
The leader must have a vision where you want to lead the people to, and you must be able to get the followers to follow the vision, to agree with the vision, to have a shared vision, and then to execute.
Okay, so what are the observations about youth today? What do you think are their biggest challenge?
I think for youth from disadvantaged families or from, I would say, financially challenged families, the challenge is, of course, earning enough or having enough to pay for the fees and expenses, and sometimes helping the family. So I think many students, both IT and poly, they work part-time. And if they work too many hours part-time, it sacrifices their sleep and sacrifices their studies. In the end, if they do not do well, the 3 years could be wasted. So I think it's important to see that they are not so financially challenged that they have to put too much effort at work and not enough effort at studies.
Speaking of challenges, recently it was reported in the news that some of the top schools in Singapore actually don't have many students from low-income families. So since you yourself have come from a humble background, do you think that diversity is important?
In my time, Singapore was relatively poor. So many of us come from poor families. But we do not feel any barriers because at that time tuition was a very scarce, very rare, and students compete. There was no kindergarten or childhood education at that time, so it was quite easy for kids from all backgrounds to compete. But now with the increasing stratification of society as Singapore became nearly 50 years old, children from families who are better off and with more emphasis on education have a big advantage. So I think Singapore must have affordable childcare, early childhood education for all Singaporeans. That should be the emphasis, so that we make every Singaporean count.
So for our last question, if you could pick one time in your life to relive, what time would it be and why?
The best time in your life are when you are students. When you are a student, you don't have too much care other than passing your exams or doing reasonably well. So you have many choices of how you spend your time and with whom. But as you are going to the work area, you can start to your career. The challenges of coping with work is there. The challenges of learning more and getting more responsibility is always there. And then once you have family, you have added responsibilities. So to have families is a huge responsibility, and people must be aware of it before they do that, take that step. Unfortunately, I think some do it with a little bit without sufficient planning, and then they run into difficulties. But increasingly, I think children or school students, they must learn all this fact of life before they make a wrong step. So exposure to the world is important.
That's it for today's episode of RepTV. We hope you enjoy it. And of course, you can catch all our other stories on Republican Post, that's one word.sg. I'm Pauline Ng and thank you for watching.